Hi, this is John from Chicago. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to make recommendations on what you need to get started to fly FPV for quadcopters. To fly FPV you need three things. You need a quadcopter, you need a set of goggles, and you need a radio to control the quadcopter. The most expensive thing can be your goggles. If you get a set of FlySky goggles, which you don't need to start, they're about $500 to get a good set. But you can get a set of goggles here. This is the Eachine EV800s, a fantastic goggle. They're $55. The resolution's almost the same. The only problem is these are heavier and they kind of stick on your face out here and bob around when you use, so you're sitting down in the chair most of the time without bobbing the head, but they're not as comfortable, but for viewing everything they work just as good as the Fat Sharks. So the other thing you're going to need is a radio. You need a hobby grade radio. This one here will handle 20 models and it's $45. This is what a lot of beginners will get. A lot of times if you have the money, spend the extra $50, or this is about a $100 radio. You can move up to a Tyrannus, FR Sky. This is what more of the people in the hobby are using, but the FlySky, a lot of people still use these radios for $45. So what we have here are then for quads. I'm showing three different price range. This first one here is a Tiny 7X from King Kong, or LDARC. It's on a clearance sale right now for $76, and it includes a radio. I ordered one, I don't have it yet, but it comes with a ready-to-fly version on clearance for $76. With this radio, the radio, if you bought it alone, is almost $40. And it's in between what a toy grade radio is and a hobby grade, and the reviews on it have been pretty good. So I would, this would be the first one that I would recommend, and if you add the $55 goggles, you're looking at about $130 system. And you can get systems as low as $65, but they're just not going to fly good. They won't have the power. And I think you're going to be really disappointed with it. But this one here would be the first one that I would recommend for about $130. Moving up to a total system of about $180 would be these. I've had this now for a week. It's the US 65 from Eachine. It has brushless motors on. These are brushed. This is brushless. And this thing flies great. It's a blast to fly. It's small. It'll go through almost any little gap, and it has enough power where you can do power loops with it, rolls, start to do some aerobatics. Not quite as good as some of the other bigger quads that you have, but it can do most of the things. So this would be a nice little quad if you're mainly going to be flying inside, although it will handle wind outside. Then my third one here, I've had this for a year now. It has a lot of grass stains, a lot of use. It's one that I just enjoy grabbing and going out to fly. It's not real fast, but it'll hold up like a tank. This is called again, this is from King Kong, which is LDARC now. It's called the ET100. It's listed right now for $137. I paid about $120 for it. It's holds up great and it's fun to fly. The only downsides now, it's getting a little dated. They're the newer models that are out. None of these have them, but all three of these are CMOS cameras. CCD cameras are a little bit better, or the newer CMOS cameras that are higher resolution are better. So you're losing a little bit of vision on these, but that would be the three models that I would recommend getting started with. Okay, do a little bit of line of sight flying for the three models. This is the Tiny 7X. All three of these models fly great, line of sight and FPV. US 65. Arm it. Line of flight for the KK ET 100. It definitely makes more noise. More thrust. Got papers, it'll blow them around. What I'm showing you now is the racetrack around the playground, the FPV feed from each of the quads. The Tiny 7X is in the upper left-hand corner. The US 65 is in the right-hand upper corner, and the ET 100 is on the bottom. The ET 100 is the quickest at 18 seconds per lap, or 15.5 miles an hour. The Tiny 7X is 18.5 seconds, which is 15 miles an hour. And the US 65 is 20 seconds or 14 miles per hour. As the quads finish the 2 laps, they will blank out. I am now showing you a little over a minute of each of the quads, the FPV flight through the goggles, which is recorded on a DVR. This first one is the LDARC Tiny 7X. All three, I just hit a branch there, and with these, the hoops, they just bounce right off, and you keep on going. The signal there is breaking up a little since the driveway or the garage or the house is blocking the signal a little bit. But now I'm back into near the where I'm sitting there, so it's picking up a good signal. But it's fun to just zip around the yard. I fly these off the back deck. I go over to visit the neighbor around his tree and fire pit. And it's just a blast being able to fly like this. The quad itself, they're super light. This one here is the medium weight one. It weighs 50 grams. And it costs $76 for the quad, and to have something that flies this good at that price, it's great. The next one here is the US 65. It weighs about half that weight at 28 grams with a battery, and again, the price of the unit's around $79. And it just flies great. Cameras are all fairly good, and you can get out over 100 yards and still pick up good video. You still have video signal, and you won't lose the signal for the quad. Here I'm flying through a little tunnel next to the house, and again, it's just I just enjoy flying around the yard, around the trees. It's a fun thing to do. There's my neighbor. She's out with the dog. So a lot of fun. Like I said, this one's the lightest weight at 28 grams. Now I'm showing you a little different course. This is the ET100 from LDARC. I did my first sanctioned race with it this year. This is my first quad race where we have timing set up and everything. I'm showing you 2 laps here of the course. There was only 7 of us flying. We each pay about $15 to get in it, and it includes food and beer. So you can't beat that. The course is set up in the guy's backyard. We go to a different person's home each time they have the race. It needs to be no more than 3S, 2S, or 3S battery. Maximum propeller size is 2.5 inches. I chose the ET100 to use for the race because it keeps on going. It's a little tank. That's one of the reasons why I'm also recommending it as one of the 3 best FPV starter quads, is it keeps on flying. It's hard to stop it. It's not very fast, but it'll get you there eventually. The ET100 weighs 128 grams, which is quite a bit more than the Tiny 7X, which is 50 grams, and the US65, which is 28 grams. So it will fly indoors fairly good, but you would, if you're using it outdoors, it would make one of the better choices. In the description below, I put the links to each of the 3 quads, along with the FPV goggles and radios. I'm also, if you have any questions or comments, please put those down below. It'd be nice to know what other people think. What is the best FPV starter quad? Again, thanks for watching. This is John from Chicago.